Barbara?
Yeah.
He's a cool dude. Yes, he is.
He's actually calmed down a little bit.
are big. Trains are noisy. They're really loud. And they're fast, especially this one. But this one stopped because it's just pulled into the station. And if you're anything like me, trains are really fun to watch.
Some trains are toys and fun to play with.
But real trains can be dangerous. They are not toys. They are not a place to play.
Trains can crash sometimes. They can crash into things. And if they hit a car or a truck, oh, it can be a real mess. And sometimes people get hurt real bad, sometimes even killed. That's why grown-ups need to stop when they see the flashing lights. You know, the red lights. And sometimes there will be a gate and bells. So grown-ups need to stop when they see those flashing lights, even if they can't hear a train coming. You and your family have to be very smart and safe around trains. That way, we will never have another one of these.
Tracks are for trains, not for kids.
Trains run on tracks, like these. But you have to remember, the tracks are just for the train. Don't walk, run, or play on the tracks. The tracks are for the trains. It's their tracks.
Tracks are for trains, not for kids. Train tracks are not a place to play.
In fact, it's against the law to play on the tracks.
It's against the law to walk or play on the tracks. It's trespassing. You can't go there. It's trespassing.
Trespassing? Let's check the law.
Playing on the tracks is trespassing. Messing around and playing on railroad property is against the law.
It's trespassing. It's against the law.
And remember, the tracks are for trains, not for kids, so don't go near the train tracks.
What about when we cross the tracks? When we cross, we gotta walk on the tracks.
Yeah, we gotta walk on the tracks.
Of course you have to cross the tracks, but there are some rules.
Cross only where there is a road or sidewalk that crosses the tracks. Don't take shortcuts that cross train tracks.
And don't walk on the tracks. They're not a shortcut. Some kids wear their headphones and can't hear the trains.
Take your headphones off when you're crossing the tracks. What? Take your headphones off when you're crossing the tracks. What? Take your headphones off when you're crossing the tracks. Okay.
They shouldn't be on the tracks anyway, and when they can't hear, it can be real bad.
Train tracks, they can be dangerous.
And be extra careful when crossing the train tracks with your bike. Always walk your bike across the tracks.
And remember, walking or playing on the tracks is wrong. It's trespassing, and it's against the law.
Tracks are for trains, not for kids.
Trains have been with us for over 100 years. They bring us all kinds of good things like cars, coal, and food, all kinds of really good stuff. And of course, it's a lot of fun to get in at the station and ride to Chicago or Toronto. This one's going to Chicago. It's going to Toronto. Like I said, this one's going to Toronto.
Toronto.
Not Chicago.
Chicago or Toronto.
Toronto's that way.
Like I said, this one's going to Toronto.
Tracks are for trains, not for kids.
My name is Eileen Devine, and I run that train.
That's awesome.
No way.
That's awesome.
I run that train.
That's cool.
Trains are big, bigger than a lot of kids think they are, and trains don't stop that easy. It's a fact that it takes 18 football fields for this train to stop. Jim, they don't stop real easy.
18 football fields to stop a moving train, that's a long way.
That's 18 football fields.
18 football fields to stop a train, well, that is a long way. Let's see. 18 football fields, 100 yards each. I think this is a math problem. Let's see, 18, That is a long way.
It sure is. That's just over a mile. But they can do the math.
The point is, trains can't stop real easy, so that makes them real dangerous if people or cars are on or near the tracks.
Tracks are for trains, not for kids.
It takes a long time for a real train like this one to stop.
When you turn the switch, the trains stop, because these are model trains.
Model railroads are fun to watch, just like real trains. Here at our model railroad, kids can get close to trains. They start and stop real easy.
Way up here in the cab, it's hard to see people walking on the ground or playing around the tracks. So do everyone a favor and stay off the tracks. I run the train, but the conductor's the one who's in charge of the train. He's the one that makes sure it's safe to go.
I'm in charge.
And I run it.
There's another thing to remember about train tracks that is very important. Never put anything on the train tracks. That means nothing.
I hadn't thought of that. What else should we remember?
You must stay away from the trestles. You know, the bridges that carry trains over rivers and roads. You shouldn't play on them, dive off them, or fish off them. And they're not good shortcuts. Trestles are just like tracks. They're just for the trains.
Sometimes kids play on boxcars.
That's trespassing.
Yes, it's trespassing and it's dangerous. When trains move, you can be trapped inside. That is dangerous.
We need to remember, stay away from trains. Tracks are for trains, not for kids.
When you're riding on the bus to school, don't distract the driver. They need to pay attention, especially at train crossings. They need to look both ways before driving over the tracks.
When I cross the train tracks, I need to pay close attention. So don't mess around in the back of the bus and distract me.
Trains are a big part of our lives. They're all around us, and they bring us stuff.
Like lumber,
TVs,
like tractors, and cars.
But they can be real dangerous. Every year you hear about kids getting hurt playing around trains. You see it on television, and you read about it in the papers. So, what did we learn today?
trains are big.
Always walk your bike across the track. Remember, stay off the tracks.
Only play with toy trains.
Don't play around the crossing gates.
Tracks are for trains, not for kids.
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 Be smart. You can enjoy watching trains, you can enjoy riding in passenger trains, you can enjoy playing with toy trains, but
Stay off the tracks.
Don't play around the train cars.
Always walk your bike across the tracks. Don't play around the crossing gates.
Take your headphones off when you're crossing the tracks.
Don't play with the switches.
thanks to all the people who helped us bring this message to you. Now, we want you to remember,
Los traques son para las trenes, no para los niños.
Yo sé. That's cool.
Tracks are for trains, not for kids. Tracks are for trains, not for kids.
now one thing you have to remember is never, never, never play on the train tracks. It's a very bad idea, because you can get seriously hurt.
Tracks are for trains, not for kids. Tracks are for trains, not for kids.
See ya.
That's awesome.